Hey everyone, I'm Joe, and I'm an IT specialist here at Nagios. And in today's video, I'll be showing you how to monitor Windows 11 machines with Nagios XI using NSClient++. NSClient++ is a monitoring agent used to collect performance data and system metrics for Windows-based machines and send them to monitoring tools such as Nagios XI. It allows Nagios XI to monitor CPU usage, disk space, memory, event logs, services, and much more for those Windows machines. Come on, let's dive right into the tutorial. The first step we want to do is install NSClient++. So if you open your favorite browser, and if we type in this, https://github.com/micum/NSCP/releases, we can press enter. And then if we scroll down, we have the most recent release, and the one that we're going to want to download is the NSCP-0.6.9-win32.msi. So we can click that, wait for it to download, and now it's all done. So we can open it, and then this installer will pop up. From here, we can just click next, and then on this page, we want to make sure we are clicking generic. We can click next, and then we can click typical for our setup type. For our allowed host, the IP address that you want to enter is going to be the IP of the Windows 11 machine that you are monitoring. So I'm going to add mine in here, and then first IP address is purely just the localhost IP. So if that's in there and you want to keep that in there, then you can just add a comma and then add your IP address after that. And then beneath, we have our password. We want to either leave it the default password as it's super secure or change it to what you want it to be. We will need this later, so make sure to remember it. For now, I'm just going to make mine as test. And then all of these settings down here should be correct. So the one you want checked is enable common check plugins, and then enable NRPE server. And then you want to make sure it's in safe mode, which uses certificates for encryption, but not authentication. After that, we can click next. And then we can click install. So this might take a second. I can hit yes, and then it will install. Awesome, so we completed the NSClient++ setup wizard. So now we can just click finish. So I'm going to minimize my window now. And the next step we want to do is head into our program files, so our file explorer, and then change the configuration file for NSClient++. So I'm going to head over to File Explorer, and then I'm going to go down to this PC, open my OS drive, and then we want to head over to Program Files x86. Some people, it downloaded in the normal program files, so if it's not in one, then it will be in the other. And the same steps apply for the next few steps that we're going to be taking. So I'm going to open that up. I'm going to scroll down and find the NSClient++, open that, scroll down even more, and then we can find this one, the NSClient configuration setting. So I'm going to open this guy up, and then this notepad comes up, and what we want to do is we want to copy the whole entire notepad. So I'm going to copy that. And from here, we want to open and run Notepad as an administrator. So we can run as an administrator. I'm going to click yes. So as you can see, I have Notepad open and it's running as administrator. And then I have the original NSClient one here from everything that I copied from. So I'm able to close out of this one, the original NSClient, the one that's not running an administrator. And we are going to want to paste everything in there. And it all looks correct. So there are a few things that we want to change in here. Again, it depends on what you're looking for. So under each one of these undocumented keys, we have some services and processes that we're able to monitor. So for example, this undocumented key, check disk, it's disabled. And if you want it to be enabled, you can either delete the disabled and type in enabled. Or another way you could do it is type in 1. 1 basically means enabled. If you do a 0, it disables it. These are what we can monitor on the Windows machines with NSClient, such as check disk or check event log. Awesome, that looks great. So we have all of these enabled now. Again, you can go through each and every one of these and see what you want and don't want. For example, if you want check helpers disabled, delete that, type in a 0, but I'm going to keep it as a 1 and enable it just for demo purposes. The next step we want to do is go to File, Save As, and we're back in our program files for NSClient. So you would have done the same steps by going to this PC, your OS or your C drive or whatever hard drive your program files are in, and then go to your program files, whether it's x86 or not. Head over to the NSClient++ folder, and then in here, when we're in this folder, you're like, oh no, where did all of my text documents go? The thing that we want to change is the Save As type. So we want to make that all files, and then we want to scroll down and find the NSClient, and all we can do is click on it, and then click Save, and then yes, we want to replace it, and then we can close out of all of these. And the next step we want to do is open up Services. I'm going to make mine a little bit bigger, and then we want to scroll down. It's going to be towards the bottom, and find the NSClient++ service. It should already be running. As you can tell, it's running, but we just want to restart it just so we can update all of those settings that we changed. So we can right click it, we can click Restart, and then it should take a second to restart. Awesome, it's still running. You want to make sure that it is still running, because if you do restart it, sometimes it could shut off, but the majority of the time it will not. So now we can make our way over to Nagios XI. Now that we're in Nagios XI, you want to head over to the left-hand side, hover over the gearbox icon, and click on Configuration Wizards. From here on out, we can go to the search bar and type in NSClient, and we want to use this configuration wizard, the NSClient++ Legacy. Here we want to enter the IP of the Windows 11 machine that we are monitoring. After that, we can click Next. So starting from the top, we have our host name. This is what it's going to pop up in XI. So if we want to name it NSClient++ Win 11. Some other ways you could do it is just keep it as the IP address, or do Windows 11 and then that IP address. Beneath here, we want to enter our agent password that we typed in earlier. So mine was test, and I'm going to leave it as that. You enter whatever yours was. And then beneath that, we have our server metrics. So here we have ping, CPU, memory usage, uptime, and disk usage. So as you can tell, all of these are checked. So we are going to be monitoring all of these. And let's say you don't want to monitor uptime, check it. And then on a few of these, such as CPU, memory usage, and then disk usage, they have these check intervals. So whenever the CPU reaches 80%, you will get a warning threshold notification. And then whenever it reaches 90%, you'll get a critical threshold notification. These numbers are interchangeable and customizable to your liking. So let's say you wanted to get a message when you were at 70%, then you will get a warning threshold when you hit 70%. And then I'm going to make this one as 80%. And then for demo purposes, I'm going to leave the rest of this default. Again, this is customizable to your liking. Beneath here, we have some services. So you can specify any services that should be monitored to ensure they're in a running state. So here we have two Windows services that were already added by default. So we have W3 SVC, and the display name is IIS Web Server. This one's unchecked. I'm going to check it, and I'm also going to check the one below, the MySQL server. So for the Windows service, this is the actual service name that you want to input. And then the display name is what it's going to display in Nagios XI. The display name is customizable to whatever you want it to be. So if I want to do W3 SVC, just as the same as the Windows services, just so I 100% know what it is, that is totally fine. And again, if you want to add any more services, you can just click on these blank boxes beneath and do the same process. If you want to add more than 4, then you can click Add Row. And then if you accidentally add another row, then you can just do Delete Row. Beneath this, we have our processes. So you can specify any processes that should be monitored to ensure they're running. So the Windows process that automatically inputs is explorer.exe, and the display name is Explorer. In order to find this, we can go to our resource monitor and find some processes in there, and we can add that. Again, I'm not going to add any for demo purposes, but a good one would be like the print spooler or something along those lines. But again, whatever process that you want to monitor or have in here to ensure that they're running is totally welcome and is heavily appreciated to use. It's very similar to the services tab as well. Down below, we have performance counters. So this specifies any performance counters that should be monitored. Again, I'm going to leave all this default, and I'm going to head down to the next page. On this next page, we have our check interval settings. So at this top portion, under normal circumstances, Nagios XI will monitor the host and service every 5 minutes. And if it's something more critical, we recommend doing it at a lower time, so 2 or 3 minutes. I'll put it at 3. And then this box beneath is whenever a potential problem is first detected, Nagios XI will recheck the host and service every 1 minute up to 5 times before sending a notification. Again, both of these numbers are interchangeable and you can customize it to your liking. So for example, if it's something critical, just as the box above, you can do it as 2 or 3 times before sending a notification, just so you get a notification faster. We can hit next. Here we have some notification settings. The base notification settings are it will send a notification immediately, but there are some other changes that you can do, such as do not send any notifications or wait a specific amount of time before sending a notification. And then here are some more alerts, so you can send it to specific groups or specific individual contacts. We can scroll down and hit next once this page is fully configured to your liking. Here we have some desired host groups. I'm going to leave this one default. And here we have some final settings. So I'm just going to click apply, and the configuration should take a second. And awesome, our configuration applied successfully. Now you are officially monitoring Windows 11 machines with Nagios XI using NSClient++. If you need any more additional assistance and or support in general, you can visit us at support.nagios.com. Make sure to leave a like, subscribe, and leave any comments for more tutorials you'd like to see on our page. Thanks for watching and happy monitoring.